Hey bro, let's get a glimpse at how kings think. Kings fail at everything. Yes, you heard that correctly. They fail every single day. Their goals are too high. They don't have even close what it takes to accomplish them. So they go to sleep as failures. And yet, they wake up the next morning even more invigorated than the day before. Ready to strive again, ready to fail again. And in this way, they become bigger, stronger, more capable. They tally and track their failures, seeking to add daily notches to their failure belts. They understand that this is the only way to push further and higher than ever before. So now that you've seen a glimpse of a king, ask yourself, are you among them? My name is Logan, and on this channel I help you realize that you in fact are a king, and as such, you must think like a king, and in so doing, you will live like a king. Now today we are seeking to understand the beauty of failure and the massive role it plays in success. Understanding failure properly is integral if you have big dreams, and you should have big dreams. Because if you have the mindset of always wanting to succeed, then you'll never accomplish much at all. You'll just be looking to reinforce this idea through success after success. And the problem with that is that it will stifle your ability to take chances. We should instead be seeking and chasing failure. If you are failing often, then at least you know that you're on the right track. In other words, you have your sights set properly high. It's like that saying, reach for the stars and you might not grab one, but you won't come up with a handful of mud either. So let's take a close look at just one example of success being bred through failure. And that is the life of none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne is one of the biggest advocates for chasing failure. And as he puts it, having the guts to fail is far more powerful than having the desire to succeed. See, Dwayne hit one of the biggest failures in his life when he was 22 years old. He had just played his first pro football game in the Canadian Football League. He knew he would be a star in this league and it would springboard him into an incredible career in the NFL as well. But he was wrong. Just 2 days after that game, he was cut. His dreams shattered. This was a pivotal moment in his life, but he dared to dream again, and he fought even harder than he had before. Using his failure as fuel, he went on to become one of the greatest WWE stars of all time, transitioned into an incredible acting career, and of course we know he is an extremely successful businessman as well, with his tequila brand reportedly being the fastest selling tequila ever, and already becoming a billion-dollar company starting only in 2019. See, that failure early in his life taught him something. It taught him that he could withstand massive failures and keep pushing. And it taught him that some of the greatest successes are bred through failure. So he has continued to push for greater and greater success, but using failure as his metric to drive results. Now, there's a good chance that you're aware of this story I just told about The Rock, and probably many others as well, such as Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, Bill Gates, the list goes on, of all of these people where a massive failure leads to future massive success. But unfortunately, there's a good chance you're also not experiencing this in your own life. And what that means is that you're going to progress very slowly because you're only taking opportunities that feel like sure wins. You won't get anywhere near your potential this way. Bro, you have to do things that scare you. You need to feel like you don't even belong in the room. If you've ever heard of imposter syndrome, you'll know exactly what I mean here. You're in a room where everyone else is better than you and you don't even feel ready to be there. You don't feel like you're qualified to even breathe the same air as them. Good. Get ready for maximum growth. Imposter syndrome is honestly another great metric that we're heading in the right direction. So liken that to feelings of failure and chase that as well. But these are the metrics that we need to be using to propel us towards our potential. No more using success metrics for yourselves. Instead, set failure goals and watch as you become more successful than ever. Another point about failure that you need to understand is that being scared to fail makes you very unlikely to try. So what does that mean? Well, we have been talking about using failure as a gauge to set our sights on higher endeavors. But we also must talk about how being crippled by fear will stifle our progress in the endeavors that we're already pursuing. In other words, if we try, we truly try, we give something our all, and we fail, well then we have to face the reality that we weren't good enough. So this thought causes us to not want to try at all. Because if you don't try and you fail, well, then at least you have that to fall back on. You can say in the face of a failure, well, I didn't really try. I mean, I could have done it if I wanted to. But see, you're so scared of failing that you want to leave this excuse intact, and you're destining yourself to fail by not even trying. You'd rather keep your ego intact by not trying than see what happens if you give it your all. When we talked about The Rock and his story earlier, an important note is that he's actually gone on record many times saying that he gave football his all. He bled for that dream of the NFL, and he just wasn't good enough. This allowed him to lay that to rest and go vigorously after his next goal. He wasn't burdened with the what ifs of not trying, so he could put all of his focus into the next dream. So yes, it's going to hurt if we fail, but it will be devastating if we're so scared to fail that we don't even try at all. And the beauty of failure is that now we have real data to look at. Because yeah, you might have failed that time, but now you can take a real look at why you failed. If you didn't allow yourself to try, then you'll never know the answer. It is true, maybe if you gave everything, you truly would have succeeded. But it makes it really difficult to pinpoint if that's not actually the issue. But if you do try, and then you fail, well, now you have something to look at. And you can go back to the drawing board with real evidence. And you can say, what do I have to do to become the person that will succeed next time? And now not only do you have a destination, but you have a clearer roadmap. You can clearly see what stopped you last time. Maybe you didn't schedule your study sessions properly. Maybe you didn't have as many training sessions as you need, or you didn't eat enough protein, or you spent too long studying minutia that you missed the bigger picture. Whatever it is, you have real evidence completely void of the question of, what if I actually really tried? The not knowing of what could have been is the worst position to be in when you're trying to solve the problem, because you don't know if you're the issue or if the plan's the issue. What do you do if you're in the boat that you're so scared to fail that it's stifling your progress? Well, the first thing that you do is you admit it. There are probably many of you watching right now that are just agreeing with everything that I'm saying and feeling sorry for those people who aren't willing to fail. And meanwhile, you're in this camp yourself. So take stock of yourself. Think about your recent failures. And man, they should start flooding your mind. And if they're not, you need to start there. Ask yourself, why can I not put my finger on what my failures have been recently? So once you've admitted that you're probably more scared of failure than is probably good for you, the next step is giving yourself permission to fail. If your mind and body don't know they're allowed to fail, then they'll avoid it at all costs. It's too painful of a feeling. At least that's how they'll perceive it. But as soon as you start reinforcing the idea that it's okay to fail, you'll do a mindset shift. You'll start to take responsibility for your outcome, no matter the circumstances. See, when you're scared to fail, you'll often want to push the blame around to everything else and live your life as a victim. But this will put you in shackles because when you think this way, there's nothing you can do about it. Life just happens to you, and you must accept it. But the permission to fail breeds responsibility because you're no longer afraid of what responsibility means. The worst it could mean is that failing was your fault, but you're good with that. You expected that. You're allowed to fail. And so now you're so much more likely to live a life of responsibility. And a life of responsibility breeds freedom. And actually, if you want a deeper look at the benefits of radical responsibility, I made a video purely on that topic. So check that out if you're interested. Okay, so now you've given yourself the permission to fail. So what's next? Well, take it one step further. Instead of just the permission to fail, encourage yourself to fail. This is when you're going to really start leveling up. And it's probably true that you're no stranger to this concept. This is why failure in the gym leads to results. When you're doing a bicep curl and your biceps fail, you're going to realize that they're not big enough to handle the task that you're putting on them. So they recruit more muscle fibers for the next time. And this will lead to hypertrophy, and thus your biceps will grow. So now it can handle the weight that it failed with last time. So you use even more weight, and it fails again, and the process of growth continues. And this is the same way that your mind and the rest of yourself will work when it comes to failure. You continue to stretch yourself to your personal limits, and those limits will continue to expand. And once you start seeing this, you'll become obsessed with failure, obsessed with taking things to their absolute limit. And I would love to do this together. See, man, I'm on this journey as we speak. I've long ago given myself the permission to fail. And right now I'm building this aspect of encouraging myself to fail in my life. I'm aiming to get to a place where I'm failing every single day in all areas of my life that are important to me. striving so vigorously for a better relationship with God that I can't possibly keep up. Until I can, and then I will push it further. And pushing to get physically bigger and stronger and faster and more athletic. Making more videos, more content, pouring my time into reaching every man on this planet. And working to become a coding phenom, seeking the ability to solve any technical problem that arises. And as I continue to push the envelope further, I continue to fail more and more often. And that is invigorating. And you will feel the same, but I want to do this together, bro. So join me in this journey, in the ever pursuit of failure. Never give up, and strive every day to fail more. Now, bro, if you got anything from the video, please drop it a like and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you in the family. And now it's time for me to serve as your reminder. Always put the work in, and from there, leave it in the hands of the one true King. Stay kingly.